Welcome to Baking with Melanie. Tonight we are making chocolate chip cookies. So the first step is to have your recipe, and hopefully it should be written on archaic paper that still has all these little punch marks from printing from once and long ago. If not, however you have it will do. This recipe is interesting because it's actually for vegan cookies, and we're taking the vegan out of it and making it ordinary. So kind of like the opposite of what vegans would do. Next step that's important is to have awesome music playing. So turn on your 1935 Westinghouse radio to a good volume so you can hear it, and have awesome music playing while you cook. Next you need a really awesome mixing bowl. This one's nice heavy clay. It's one of a kind from like a local artist. So if you have that kind, that's awesome. If you just have ordinary bowls, it'll still work. So the first thing you want is your measuring cups. And it's fun if you have matching measuring spoons. Mine are all green because I like them. Now you want a half a cup of margarine. And you could use butter, but really honestly, the margarine turns out so much better. Now usually butter is better with almost everything, especially when you have a cute butterfly butter dish, you know? But in this situation, we need to have the margarine because it makes it all melty and lovely. So we're gonna add that to the bowl. Next you want to have 1 cup of brown sugar. This is actually golden sugar, but so long as it's not white sugar, you can do it with white sugar, it's just not as good. It still works, but it's better with the brown or the yellow sugar. And next, we want to mash them together with a spoon, just mashing till it kind of creams together. And the sugar gets really lumpy, so you got to kind of work out all the big lumpy bits because you want it to be smooth in the end. And yeah, it's good workout on the arms. I hardly ever use mixing devices. So this is going to be like all the sort of wet ingredients. Next you want to take your egg, 1 egg, crack it, right? Put it in the bowl, whee! And then we're going to mix in the egg. So this is with the egg just added. It looks like this, and we're going to cream it all together. Now these chocolate chip cookies are incredible. They are amazing. I would tell you that, you know, these chocolate chip cookies would make someone fall in love with you. But since nobody's in love with me, I really can't promise you that. But I can tell you they're really good. Here's our nice creamed mixture, all our wet ingredients with the margarine, the brown sugar, and the egg. Also important is we want to preheat our oven to 375. See? 375. Yay! And now we're beginning to add our dry ingredients. So this is 1 cup of flour. Just add it to the bowl with the wet mixture. We also want a pinch of salt. So I'm just going to shake a little bit. Whee! There we go. And we want 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Baking soda. Baking soda. Baking soda. Don't mix that up. Alright, so here's a 1/2 teaspoon. And a 1/4 teaspoon to make our 3/4 teaspoons. And so here is what it's looking like with the dry ingredients tossed on top. Now you may notice that my bowl and the proportions look bigger than your bowl and the proportions. I'm secretly making a double batch for a big party. So now we just mix the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. And do stir it carefully because you don't want the flour all spilling out as the dry ingredients might like to do. Until you got the doughiness kind of merging and melding together, you want to take your time. This is what the bowl looks like when all the wet and dry ingredients have been well mixed together. Here's our cookie dough. Time to add the chocolate chips. So I'm just going to add about 1/2 bag of semi-sweet, real semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now, even though I love milk chocolate and I can just eat it by the handful in the chocolate chip form, it's not as nice for baking with. So even if you like milk chocolate chips, you really want to go with the semi-sweet for chocolate chip cookies because it just all turns out right. And so I pour about half a bag in. Whee! As you just heard, our timer went off, which means that the oven is already preheated, which means you better hurry up. So I'm just mixing in the chocolate chips, and you're gonna want to have some baking sheets, cookie sheets, even those large rectangular flat cake pans are good. That'll be the next step. So our chocolate chips are pretty much mixed in, and it's time to start putting them on the trays. Now I'm going to grease my cookie trays, baking sheets, with a little bit of margarine, because I find sometimes the cookies get all sticky and stuck to the pan, especially with all the melty chocolate chips. And there's certain things you want to stick. You want love to stick, you want money to stick, success and wealth and all those good things, but you don't want your cookies to stick. Not in the pan anyway. Now when I do my cookies, I'm usually mixing with like a large spoon, like a tablespoon, but I want to drop my cookies, put my cookies onto the tray. I'm going to use a teaspoon, the smaller spoon, just so that they don't like spread so big, and I'd rather have a bunch of maybe smaller cookies. I don't know, we're going to just see what happens. Now that we have them on the pan, and I have them in other trays too. See, I spread them apart so they have room to expand, room to grow without totally melding into each other, into a giant cookie. So this way we should get a whole bunch of little cookies. And they're going to go in the oven, and the cookie dough. Yes, licking the bowl of the cookie dough. Very good idea. So there they are, going into the oven. Bye! Set the timer for 7 minutes. I know, right? 7 minutes. In 7 minutes, we're going to check the cookies and see how they're doing. Now, it could be that they want a little bit longer. I kind of go with the goldeny color, and if they look good. I don't like my cookies too crispy or overdone. All the fun of making homemade, fresh from the oven chocolate chip cookies is that they're gooey and melty and delicious. So now we check them, but look, they don't look golden enough. So we're going to let them go a little bit longer. So look, here they are on the trays out of the oven.
One cookie.
So now we take the spatula. People came home. They could smell the cookies. So you take the spatula, we want to put them all on a handy plate to cool, because who needs cooling racks? You just put them on a plate, right? Okay, total change of plans. The cookies want to break while I try to lift them up, so I'm just going to leave them on the trays.
We're going to beat them up. We're going to beast mode, son.
Hey.
We're going to punch them in the face, and they're going to die, man. Whoa.
Nice to the cookies. Then you use somebody else's spatula to lift the cookies off the baking sheets, because it always works better than your own spatula. And it kind of makes them mad, so don't let them catch you. So with your handy spatula, just lift them onto a plate to cool. It's also important to always clean up after yourself when you're done baking, because it really annoys me when people don't clean up after themselves. Got it? The last step is putting your cookies in your pretty cookie jar that you got at the antique market, or whatever you've got. And even if you have no one to share your cookies with, and you're really all alone in life, these cookies will make you not mind so much, because now you won't have to share them with anybody. They'll make it all better. Happy baking!